Okay, so yesterday, news came out that Carson Beck was withdrawing his name out of the 2025 NFL draft and was entering his name. He was not going back to Georgia. He entered his name in the transfer portal, which really shocked a lot of people. I don't think you were too shocked that he pulled his name out of the NFL. But everybody was shocked that he put his name in the transfer portal. Because as far as the NFL draft stock was going, his stock was going down. People were saying second round, possibly third round. He didn't have the best year. There's still a lot of question marks with Carson Beck. But so that's not shocking. But what's shocking is that he would leave Georgia. Now, there's a lot of underlying questions that could come up when you're talking about Carson Beck leaving Georgia. But like when players put their names in the transfer portal, they're looking for two things. They're looking for a bigger payday or a chance to get more playing time and chase a championship. Well, he doesn't have to worry about playing time. He was the starting quarterback for Georgia. He doesn't have to worry, to me, about NIL deal because Georgia could have got him that. Now, the underlying questions is, like, was Georgia ready to move on from Carson Beck? We have no idea, and we'll probably never find that out. So if you take that out of question, why? Why not just go back to Georgia? Well, it looks like Carson Beck has skipped out on not only the NFL, but Georgia to be a little bit closer to his girlfriend. The news is now broken that Carson Beck has committed to the University of Miami Hurricanes, which just so happens to be where his girlfriend, Hannah Cavender, plays basketball for the Miami Hurricanes. Now, like say, it's probably just not as simple as he skipped out on the NFL to just be next to his girlfriend. Of course, you wouldn't do that. I would hope not. You know, you can be near your girlfriend and still play in the NFL. But, like say, his draft stock was really starting to plummet. Carson Beck needed to go back to college to be able to get his draft stock back rising up where it needs to be in the first round. This isn't the best draft class this year, and for him to not be considered as a first-round draft pick, he's losing out on a lot of money. And, of course, in today's college football era, you can make just as much money for 1 or 2 years in college football as you can pros, if not way more, depending on your draft stock and your draft position. But leaving Georgia for Miami is a very interesting move. And like say, did someone in Georgia, Kirby Smartside, tell Carson Beck, hey, you know, we hear that you're coming out of the NFL draft. We want to let you know probably best to put your name in the transfer portal. We've got some guys coming up, some recruits, or we just might have another thing planned. We're ready to move on. We appreciate your time, your service. Or did they tell him, yeah, come on, but he had no intentions of doing that? Did he actually just want to be closer to his girlfriend? And here's the thing. The Miami Hurricanes, Cam Ward is out the door. He's going pro. Miami needs a quarterback. Miami's got a bag that they can give you worth of NIL funds. But that also shouldn't matter because Georgia, it's not like they don't have a bag full of NIL funds. Like, he could get any sort of NIL deal that he could have gotten with Georgia as long as one thing was true, as long as Georgia actually wanted him. It really comes down to just simply two things. Did Georgia tell him that they no longer wanted his service? Did they tell him, thank you, appreciate you being here, but we're moving on from a different direction? Or did they say, yes, come back, but he just wanted to actually be closer to his girlfriend, which is just crazy. But this also just shows where we are in college football today with really not seasonal, it's all year NFL free agency. Guys are literally walking out the door at any moment they want to. And as for a college coach, it's tough to be a college coach in these days. You have to worry about recruiting kids out of high school. You have to be constantly looking into the transfer portal, getting guys coming in, filling holes. But then in the whole time, you got to be talking to your own guys. You got to be making sure that they're feeling good, that they're fed, that they're warm. Because those guys that already played for you are walking out the front door. Real quick, guys, I always want to say I appreciate you very much. If you're enjoying this video, hit that subscribe button, join the team. It is all free, and I appreciate your support. We are closing in on 10,000 subscribers. Also, if you ever hear my little girl in the background, that is my joy. That is my life. So just deal with it. If you hear her laughing and having a fun time in the background, then that should warm up your day. So back to this video. Carson Beck leaving the NFL draft, withdrawing his name for the NFL draft, not shocking anybody. Like we said, his draft stock was going down. He could very easily make more money, at least for the next year, by going back to college and collecting NIL funds and having the chance to enhance his draft stock next year. But the biggest shocker news of the day is that he left Georgia, and then less than 24 hours, he committed to Miami. So he knew going in that he had a spot for him in Miami. Like say, the connection is his girlfriend. I want to hear from you guys. What do you think about this whole scenario? Him going into the draft, pulling his name out of the draft, not going back to Georgia, but then packing his bags to Miami, being closer to his girlfriend. And also, what do you think this does for Carson Beck? Can he kind of resurrect his career? At one point, Carson Beck was known as a first-round draft pick. Not only a first-round draft pick, but a high first-round draft pick. There was a chance that he could be the number one overall pick if he had an incredible year this past year. It didn't pan out for him or Georgia. If he goes to Miami, how does he look in that system? Was it a system error at Georgia? Could it be better with more of a spread air raid with what Cam Ward kind of dealt with in the University of Miami? Do they have to change their system for someone like a Carson Beck? I'm just going to say this. I've never really been the biggest Carson Beck fan. I think definitely they're getting a downgrade as far as the University of Miami, going from Cam Ward to Carson Beck. But I'm sure there's things that Carson Beck does better than Cam Ward. You'll have to tell me, have to educate me on that. But we'll see. This is an opportunity. It's just a crazy NIL error story that we're dealing with Carson Beck leaving the NFL draft and not going back to a powerhouse in Georgia, but leaving for the Miami Hurricanes. And I even wonder how Miami Hurricane fans feel about this. Are they pumped that Carson Beck's coming in, or are they very disappointed, like, guys, we could do better than Carson Beck? I'm sure they've got recruits coming in the door, some that might have more athletic ability or things like that than Carson Beck. I would be very curious to hear from Miami fans. Let me know what you guys think about this whole dilemma, this whole crazy dilemma involving Carson Beck. Let me know in the comment section below. As always, guys, like this video. Until next time, stay humble, stay kind, and peace, as my little girl is playing in the background.